This video is about the 5 identities of positive. There are 5 identities of volume. Complete identities, but simultaneously semi-nature. The same way the individual identities of your body, of your organs. Each organ is a complete identity of value / value progression. Simultaneously, it is an unceasing semi-nature relationship, also increasingly to your complete identity of relationship to itself, where and as and how you are a complete identity of volume. Simultaneously, you are a semi-nature, grouped areas, ages, sexes, even ages. No, this is the invisible but still discernible in demonstration to us. This is the first algebraic equation. English, Allah's name was revealed to teach with English. Simultaneously, at the same time, we're not supposed to agree on the name, though. Individually grouped in together. How could that be? Well, one thing's true or the other. This is how, for example, sequence nature is two truths at the same time. And there are this is the exception nature and demonstration to us. How it is in generation of all others. See how space is an empty nature? Had part of its value comparatively. Now we're going to use correlation juxtaposed with what is comparative. But see how it has a semi-nature of itself as value, itself as value. Wherein as and how one identity of value progression is distinctly, non-distinctly, and is simultaneously onto and as the value of all parts of space nature and of existence. Existence has a semi-nature of it missing from it too, but while it is simultaneously increasing value at the same time. And so sequentially, both distinctly and non-distinctly, this is true and untrue, that space comes in value second in relationship to the complete identity in relationship to itself. And wherein it has and how that's not true, simultaneously with existence coming second as it does or not. It does and not. This is a trinity. This is how a trinity demonstrates itself to us. This is the first algebraic consciousness. The first algebraic value transfer, where simultaneously a piece of the phenomenon of existence as value, a semi-nature of its value, and a semi-nature of space were coupled to making another nature and making it as a circuit where their value in that way increase, even though it took away from their original value, you can't take away. This is how one identity of value progression is self-generating with this circuit where the each there's a value transfer filling in the void that made them make more and more forever nature. See, nature as identity. For identity is forever nature. It is bigger than infinity. It is making more and more infinity per this trinity's value / value nature relationship to itself, inside itself, as value nature inside values nature, which is a perfect value progression. So we come to Earth's simultaneously distinct and non-distinct relationship to the rest of space nature, which is where and how we are concentrated value. So for example, this is why L comes right next to M. And we are all value. This is where it has now each of the letters of English are valued distinctly, non-distinctly, and simultaneously. And when they're not valued, they're as the same identity, distinctly though. And again, simultaneously, non-distinctly, and simultaneously, so we can see this Even though it is invisible, this is about the science of how to discern it. See, we have God prevented for this is about the identity of value progression, the identity that space and that existence share as semi-natures. In relationship to this identity of value progression, generating their value in their nature of volumes increase as the one they are together, as the one we are. Also, as its unceasing uh, value of relationship to itself. From our perspective, that is our value, as our identity, as what's going to cause negative, positive value nature progressions or negative value nature progressions, acts and natures. But this is per its system. And this is a system that these are all modern nations forced into fact cheaping nature logic racketeering systems. This is about the identity of logic. There are recorded science reveals, scientific process reveals, there are 5 bonded identities of volume as positive, which is sequence true, which is the order of the finite note as value. This is about algebra. This is about the identity of the science of share box sayings. So this is about value transfer. This is all these values and their relationship to each other are what shows the value being attached to all things is the identity of this forever nature, this identity of value progression that generated humanity. Not a bang. Before something could bang into itself, it had to be generated. They have needs to have predicate value worse than obfuscated. They have needs to have volume science, an actual science, scientific process worse than obfuscated. How do you pretend to be positive if you're doing that? You pretend that you believe scientific consensus is worth what it is not. Worth in relationship to value and value in demonstration of forever nature's course. So we have not had the surface values of the Constitution allowed defended simultaneously, and other was pretended originally instilled. This is how they had witch trials. They were victims needing to blame the real causes of negative value nature progressions, action natures, other things, others themselves, even if they made that upset, especially then. And then they have to defend that. Now there are standing lie progressions in relationship to all that is capable of each angel of fact treatment nature's correlation nature by and as the value of this trinity's identity of relationship to itself, which is one value progression's relationship to semi-nature 2 ways, through 3 ways. As semi-nature, as complete nature, as semi-nature, and as finite nature. English was revealed to teach this with the 3 points of real possession, 3 natures of real possession: finite, semi, and complete. Finite, complete, semi-complete, and complete. Unchanging as the identity of value progression, which science reveals. So they made like the roles with this were leading up to the Trade Center attack and since it, and with the investigators of it, and how they have a whole bunch of nations shared here and there. So where they need to have peace in relationship to have where things they need to settle because they're all nuts with nuclear weapons, with the threats tied to that, threats tied to all kinds of states and areas originally and still private criminal enterprises, still self-value because they're overt criminal enterprises. Again, everyone blaming the real cause of predicate acts, criminal insidiousness, criminal insidious natures, styles of logic, blamed on other things other than themselves, pseudo-positive treatment natures, justifications of that. Just be tough forsaken areas, each, let alone the most sickly exploited areas. Because what is that homeland as homelands? To defend itself, it's reliant upon the differences with other nations. This is where This is where modern nations share the victim reaction, where our nation's founders, everyone's fact sheet nature reactions are valued. So they keep everyone pseudo helped simultaneously, positive mistreatments against everyone. This is positive's course, which realizes the simultaneous value of these five simultaneously connected identities of oneself, one identity of value progressions, identity of relationship to itself, and the value of that. This is smaller than the smallest identity of value, in such a way where it has 2 points of possession on both sides of it that can be scientifically observed. This is smaller and bigger at the same time, and further, because it's demonstrating that neither one of those is positive or negative. Everything's in demonstrating how its identity of value progression will only stay more and more positive forever. Nature made, where there is an extent that realized means to make more of itself. So what I refer to as the heartbeat of Allah, because the ancients probably referred to this using science. Using science, when Jesus Christ is, he is the Alpha, he is the Omega. It ties to him with the halo drawn before him, and with a capital A, going from left to right, and then on his right side, looking at it, is the W, 2 capital V's, 2 victories, the word. See, each letter spells out a word, and each word spells out a sentence. These 26 letters of the English language the ancients revealed have an identity of relationship to themselves, just like our species does. And they have they have an identity of value progression, an identity of relationship to itself that is involved with how you see that self-generation, understand it, and they have the value of that, which is the difference between causing evolution and being evolution's fruits and gifts here. Temporary positive that is also temporary / lasting positive, or as a force from here, leaf hadiths. Now, see, we have this on a value nature system tactical interior from these are. Everyone already was invested and is invested, having blamed other things, others themselves, for what really caused and causes and keeps and self-values blamed on other things, the shootings with areas. How they're motivated to the people that aren't related to it to blame it on other things, others themselves. That's also recorded. How we don't have free speech since founding. If we try to do it, you do it using logic that's not logic racketeering influenced. They'll steal your identity, pretend they don't understand you, while simultaneously they're stacking more and more lies into databases about you. So we have a whole bunch of ties to Washington, D.C., to the Pentagon, everything, private database relationships, a whole bunch of nations here and there. The same courts pretending to be against, the same police forms pretending to be against, same politicians pretending to be against Russian collusion. They have racketeering acts and methods recorded, actually recorded natures in collusion with Russians. For example, with crime methods pretending to believe people have conspiracy theories, and pretending to be people have mental diagnosis consciously, forging names to do so, pretending whole conversations with us to do so, as various natures of courts, drug cliques, family members, sexual circles, roles with racketeering acts, fake news, which is real. So they stole me to fake location, my family to fake locations, fake ties to other people, fake natures of ties to other people, fake words, fake sequence relationships. So now you not only don't have free speech, you have more and more time impositions upon you if you try to get it. And so now you have people lying about what is positive. And now when anyone makes opinion, you know they're wrong. But because and there's also a recorded pattern of that pattern of them, like they arrest people after when, but if people start, if they know they're about to get caught because someone's going to tell about you, they'll delay it, and then they'll make up something else. Then they'll make a whole bunch of police forms from a whole bunch of cities, write falsified police reports together, and stick them into databases, attaching you to fake ties to faked officers. They involve all different cities and all different police departments this way. Then they have to hide that perpetually. Oh, I don't know. So they have everyone invested, criminally foreign influence, leading up to in the Trade Center attack, Manhattan, and interstates, as the ones from Connecticut on off CCSU, also racketeering with these other nations on off Connecticut campuses and colleges and universities through time involved with crimes with child campuses criminally. So we have educational departments, we have opinions of the experts regarding the identity the scientists share, regarding our identity of value/value progression that are criminally foreign influenced and delusions wrought and exploited as such. So what we need now is to have the mandated law followed. The courts, they're involved with crime methods distinctly and non-distinctly and simultaneously with other branches. So we have to have mandated law followed, countering their roles, forging names, switching names, and with falsified police reports and other racketeering acts, uses of their databases, their family members, all tied to them in their courts. Police interbranch, leading up to the Trade Center attack in it, as Connecticut interbranch. Then since, with the investigators in other cases, sequence shifts, also tied to approved and post-dated documents, had been post-dated from inside the Ninth Circuit, and then showed them post-dated to the panel of judges that ruled they were filed late. That proven led up to a 2006 case with former director of the FBI, had co-defendants of his that were already proven federal criminals, other cases, and people, but ones that are tied to them too. Also, a number of them tied to the kids with the schools I went to, but I had nothing to do with. All exceptions they try to pretend other with, like two the main brothers, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with two Mendez police brothers, involved with police equipment with a principal sex offender. That there are crimes with it worse than him, and that forced it, not told on. Now these are also with judges forging names, switching names, even female judges, multiple, even white/black, the female judges, and these are crime roles with crime groups that are also KKK themed. Even though as military police, they're not supposed to confess that stuff. They use confessions because they keep the people involved with CCSU. That's also CCSU on off of it. Each side of the campus, recorded, confessed, demonstrated as one of the colleges and universities involved further with the principal sex offenders campus and other ones in town further criminally, and further with ties between houses next to them and business next to them, all with racketeering roles with the people tied to the former director of the FBI and database racketeering acts in the past, and roles with mail crime, wire crime clicks, identity thefts, racketeering. That's why no one spoke for what really forced slavery. That's because why no one even let spoken for the fact cheaping nature slavery of our founders, the fact cheaping nature torture of our founders, which this is about. They're using they're using sick methods like this, pretending not to realize. They're stacking crime acts as federal crimes with evidences, with databases, crime rolls too, and then pretending not to realize, understand people. That's a crime method. They're pretending, then they're having experts check when you have no legal right to talk to experts. If you don't speak with them, they're just going to fake what they want to say anyway. Now, these are people with the Trade Center attack investigators that had roles with those other nations. And they already uses of their identities here or there as fake law legal treatment natures. They can't speak for one religion. They can't speak for the surface values of the Constitution. They can't speak for science. These are nutbags with criminal and seditious natures of positive, maintain states and areas criminally foreign influenced, identities of themselves, self-value, as what they call religion, free speech, get me from the fake news, WFSB, Fox Connecticut News, WTNH. There are judges retired and standing, a whole bunch of bad things tied to a Delafair family, and with people recorded on off the high school and the middle school further involved. Also, the principal sex offenders campus, further with the library next to the middle school. Now, these are also people involved with DACA, with all these nations sick together. A whole bunch of people tied through time with West Farms Mall. People tied to mobile gas stations, involved with identity racketeering, sequence shift, confessions. Sequence shifts also, these are places I went to work at to learn about their roles with someone people I don't even know in grammar school, make confessions, demonstrations. Same thing I caught them doing with the sex offenders with the campus on off it, with the police resource families involved too. What the hell was I talking about? So whatever, just give me a response. They're pretending I'm trying to report things I never tried to speak with anyone about. That's one of the things I caught them doing, pretending I spoke with other people about what actually is recorded because I caught them, and having pretended to be the fake conversations. Wethersfield police recorded, confessed, and demonstrated with all these police intercity. They forged names and switched names. They have other natures of racketeering acts roles. They recorded and confessed that their roles with the Leahy family, forging names, switching names, and with the Dillon family, with my new and past neighbors involved with them, with medical racketeering acts, medical racketeering uses of Hartford Hospital, and of other untimely deaths on and off campuses I went to, other racketeering uses of the databases. So let's go. These are people with judges retired and standing, long criminally involved with them, prison cliques tied to them, involved with abuses of each age and fact nature. The ones with the child offender cliques on the sex offender registry rolls even further on and off campuses involved, and with the untimely deaths that brought that up tied. This is also tied to, again, many people tied to my area, all those campuses, even though they didn't go to them. And to the roles with the victim, with the racketeering acts and cliques that went to my high school with identity thefts. Wethersfield Police Chief's daughter is involved with this. Her extended family members of a person that came into my grade when I was in sixth grade, involved with this. With judges retired and standing, overt criminal enterprises, prison cliques, and database racketeering, medical racketeering cliques, fire department racketeering cliques, town offices roles, private places, car dealerships, things like that. These are networks, family members, whole cliques. See, free speech. WTNH, Fox Connecticut News, and WFSB also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated their racketeering is involved with them through time with uses of how they play softball together in Wethersfield. They're kept criminally foreign. They're kept needing to hide live progressions with their criminally foreign influence acts in nature. Now they can't afford the free speech of others, and that's not by accident. These are people that have roles leading up to the Trade Center attack criminally in it and since. And they also, with a pattern preventing me and others who are strangers, they came up to me, asked for help, reporting courts and military police involved with manipulations of them. And they swear to God they would, to me and others, that they would tell the truth about this. And that was before the Trade Center attack. And then it was confirmed afterward. And these are the people with sequence shifts. There are a whole bunch of people that are tied to the use of a real person named Hunter or not. A whole bunch of Hartford police retired and standing. Also starting fights between people. People, UPS, before I ever went to work there, people from UPS recorded, confessed, and demonstrated. They're involved with the people in intercities, involved with what I caught with racketeering with proven child sex offenders, and further ones with the campuses. Joshua Julian further recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with racketeering with deans. A whole bunch of people tied to federal criminal code defendants, a former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin. I never had one conversation with Joshua Stryker in my life. There's Eric Oliveri also involved with the UPS confessions, and other people on and off Trinity College, CCSU involved with racketeering. Then I went to get a job there, and they confirmed all that, and worse, because these are people involved with the house slash SMI area within their extended family members with the interbranch identity thefts, evidence racketeering, mail crime rolls, wire crime rolls, not just UPS. So I tell best boxings. So get me a response too, because we even have the lawyers, the whole setup of all these identities of law. They're sick. They make things up about people that call up there, like Trantolo and Trantolo. Then they change what they say. They want to play. Well, have the courts decide. They're in collusion. Well, let's deal with what's actually recorded. If someone has a difference, don't make it about some thing that you can't even explain, and with fake sequence, pretending us to fake words. I never tried to report anything debatable. I never tried to report anything that's not recorded always true. Someone wants to debate it, have them pick one name in sequence. That's why they forge names and switch names into branch, like sick little coward groups. Christine Bedard, Christine Tardet, whatever your name is now, you have no business being a prosecutor. You are recorded, delusions walk, criminally foreign influence, roles, preventing free speech, attaching me and others, fake, they're forging names, switching names roles though. People tied to her like a John Mayan, involved criminally. Now she's in my way. This girl who was involved with recorded, confessed, demonstrated, involved with database racketeering when I was a kid. I had nothing to do with her. With this John Mayan too, and with sequences, and with a whole bunch of people. Rick C.M. Faglione. I never had anything to do with him the whole time he was in high school. After he graduated high school, he made all these confessions to me about his roles, racketeering way back, with a whole bunch of people tied to it as a Leahy family. Recorded all these racketeering acts against me and my father, and my family, and other families. He attached me to fake conversations about 9/11 that weren't at all, so he couldn't misunderstand me. We had no conversations ever. This guy's sick in the background as doctors, male and female, interbranch prosecutors, judges, male and female, attaching little kids to fake locations, fake words, fake ties to other people through time. There's a Mr. Abruzzi, a whole bunch of people tied to a Mr. Abruzzi and to an O'Brien family, further involved with the CCSU racketeering. And with these police forms that pretend like a detective Samuda, involved with racketeering, and pretending he was arresting officer with me, switching identities with an officer Magnanos from East Hartford to total another town. All these different cities, Weathersfield police involved with them, retired and standing criminally involved. These are people with child sex offenders further involved. So you have the educational department at the CCSU, a number of people with the English department through time also involved with the racketeering with the Weatherfield police chief's family and with overt criminal enterprises. Even Jack Heitner recorded, confessed, and demonstrated by himself and others. Confirmed roles with racketeering groups involved here criminally. People involved criminal uses of the acting department, the business offices, criminal use of each identity ground location. CEQA, everyone speaking to other people. CNN, rolls with a whole bunch of people on Church Street in Old Weathersfield. Interdepartments at CCSU. Now in that corner, that's right where around where George Washington had to come right before the last battle of the Revolutionary War. Had to leave overt slavery with color, entrenched. Could only semi-counter extort them, even with the French general's help. All along that route, Main Street, right in Church Street, right to CCSU, right through cities, all along that place are people involved with identity thefts, and then acting tied to it, all tied to CCSU, Trinity College racketeering acts. These are people with prosecutors, foreign and domestic military collusion, leading up to the Trade Center attack after. Oh, they won't mind to make opinions when people talk. You have to, when people want to deny things, they won't let people deny it because they know it's true. And they already put fake things in databases. They know what I'm reporting. These are positive treatments. These are sick people pretending to study what's wrong with the north end of Hartford. They need to keep blaming it on, oh, the mother doesn't know how to do it because, she doesn't have a man, and that's the problem.